Okay, welcome everybody to our live show today. Just give me a minute. I'm trying to share the link and we would continue. Okay. Please help us to share, help us to like, help us to subscribe.
Today, I have for you a container. Today, I have for you.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everyone, today to our beautiful talk show. I'm so glad you're here today. I'm so glad you're able to make it. It's been an honor to be here with you today. So I would really appreciate it if you could share the link, get people to come on board so we start and we continue. And we have a lot to learn today. A lot. When I mean a lot, we actually have a lot to learn today, and I would really appreciate it if we share the links, share the live, so that people could join us whilst we listen to the song. Can I find it? Welcome, welcome, welcome to our live section today. We'll be starting shortly in the next 2 minutes. Please invite people because we have a lot to learn today. We have a lot to discuss about how we could, talk to our children, talk to everybody. So come and today we will unlearn, we would unpack what we know, and it's just for 30 minutes and I will be out of your faces. Please, could you help me share the link as well whilst you're joining and whilst I play the song at the background for you? There is nothing else impossible for you. Welcome, welcome. Please don't forget to share the link of your goodness. You will do it again. When I pray, when I call you answer, there is nothing else impossible for you. My eyes are seen and I can tell of your goodness. Yes, you did it before, you still doing it again. Oh, Mary, drink radio. Welcome, 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 welcome to my live section today. I'm so glad you're able to make it. If you're on TikTok, please tap on the screen and keep us rolling. Thank you very, 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 very much. Thank you very much. Today, we are going to talk about something interesting, something profound. Please, you could use the chat button, say hello, say hi. If you can hear me from whichever platform you are on, whether it's on Facebook, is on LinkedIn, is on YouTube, is on TikTok. Please don't forget to say hello. And thank you so much for joining me today. And we'll be talking about adolescent development. We'll be talking about comprehensive sexuality education for a very, 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 very long time. And today I'll just go through with you the questions, teenagers ask their parents, their guidance whilst growing up. There's a stage they get to and they become so curious. So the first question is, at what age should parents start talking to children about body safety, puberty, and sexuality? At what age do we think, parents should start talking to their children about body safety? At what age do we think parents should talk to their children about puberty? At what age do we think parents should talk to their children about sexuality? At what age are we actually looking at? What do you think is the age range for parents to be talking about puberty, sexuality to their children? So at what age? So I have here that parents should start early. It's actually important you start early, but there is what we call a comprehensive sexuality education, and that should be age appropriate. So it's an age appropriate comprehensive sexuality education. So young children from early as 7, 8, 9, 10 could learn about their privacy, they could learn about their body safety, what good touch is, what is bad touch, they could learn about that. Then preteens could also learn about puberty, they could learn about hygiene. And teenagers need deeper guidance on relationships. They need deeper guidance on pressure, peer pressure from friends, colleagues. They need deeper guidance on pregnancy prevention. They need deeper guidance on sexually transmitted infections. And they also need guidance on values and decision making. So that is why it is important that as parents, as guidance, we start early to educate our adolescents. Okay, thank you all for joining. Thank you so much for joining our live section today. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here to learn. I'm glad we are all here to learn. So, why do we think parents feel uncomfortable discussing sexuality with their children? Many parents feel embarrassed, okay? They feel afraid. Some of them are unprepared. Some were raised in homes where these topics were never discussed. But silence does not protect your children. It only pushes them to other sources. Silence doesn't protect your children. It only pushes them to other sources. So they may learn. The thing is, when the parents remain silent or become silent, the children will learn from friends, they will learn from social media, they will learn from movies, they will learn from pornography, they would learn from strangers or misleading online context. And this is why parents must become the first trusted voice the child hears, or the child hears. So I have another question here. Does talking about sex with adolescents encourage them to become sexually active, or does it protect their adolescent? Okay, sorry about that. So my question is, does talking about sex with adolescents encourage them to become sexually active, or does it protect them? Now, there's what we call good sexuality education. Good sexuality education actually protects the adolescent, okay? It protects the teenager, and it gives them the knowledge, it gives them values, it gives them confidence, it creates boundaries, and it also helps, in decision making. Now, we need to understand the difference between sexuality education and encouraging sexual behavior. Now, sexuality education teaches about safety, it teaches about values, it teaches respect, it teaches self control, it teaches, body changes, it teaches boundaries, it teaches responsible choices. It is not a permission to have sex. So how can parents teach? Yeah, you begin to ask yourself. So this is that. So that's why we are looking at helping our teenagers, especially those within the rural community. So the question will be, how can parents teach abstinence? How can parents teach abstinence? How can values and self-control without using fear or shame, without comparing them to their spouse? How can parents do that? So parents can speak with love and firmness. So you say your body is valuable, your future actually matters, okay? And you don't need to prove love through sex. So you could say these things to your adolescent, you could say these things to your teenager. So all those things are things you could actually say to them. So what do you think parents should do when a child asks a difficult question? So when a child or when your guardian asks a difficult question, what do you think parents should do? as sorry, hold on. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining. So, we are just going through. Thank you, Daniel, for joining. We are just going through and looking at questions, adolescents ask. So, when they present to you about teenagers, about dating, what do? You ask the question calmly. Okay, you ask the question calmly, you ask the question nicely, you're not being judgmental. So I always say that even as girls are receiving sexuality education, our boys need to receive sexuality education. Yes, boys and girls need to learn respect. They need to learn consent. Okay, they need to learn responsibility. They also need to learn self control and how to reject peer pressure. Definitely, growing up, you had a lot of peer pressure. Peer pressure would definitely happen, it would definitely come up. But how do you reject peer pressure? You, as a parent, you, as a guardian, that is where you come in. You protect the girls, also protecting the boys as well. Because right now, in this century or in this time and age we live in, the teenage boy is not safe, the teenage girl is not safe. Now, fathers need to step up and talk to their sons, talk to their daughters. Boys need the male guidance on respect and responsibility. The girls also need affirmation, they need protection, and they need confidence from their fathers. There is this thing we don't talk about much, and that is social media. Social media, social media. We don't talk about it much. Social media. Social media, okay? We need to talk about social media. Do you think social media is doing more harm than good? Do you think social media is doing more harm than good? Do you think social media is doing more harm than good? Okay, let me check. Okay, so social media can actually expose adolescents to misinformation. So social media can expose them to misinformation. Social media can actually expose adolescents to sexual pressure, can expose them to pornography. Social media can expose adolescents to pornography. Social media can expose them to unsafe relationships. Okay, even online predators. Social media can expose adolescents to that and unrealistic ideas about love and their body. So, parents, you could actually monitor their phones without destroying trust. How do you do that? You set clear rules and explain why. Okay, for different age range, you set different rules, and then you begin to explain why this is this, why they need to do this, why they have to do this, why this is good for them, why this is bad for them. So you set clear rules. Even as setting the rules, you actually need to explain to your teenage child while you're setting that rule. So monitoring them should not be a form of punishment. Okay, you're monitoring your teenage child does not mean you need to punish them. It should be all about protection. It should be all about love. So parents should also learn how to discuss privacy, safety, and responsible, online behavior. So how do you look out or how do you check when your teenage child is going through peer pressure or is in an unsafe relationship, what do you do? So these are some of the signs you look out for when your teenage child is, undergoing peer pressure from friends, families, whoever it is. There's withdrawal, okay? Number one, they withdraw from activities they like to do, they like to partake. Then they start keeping secrecy. And there is this sudden behavioral change. So all of a sudden they switch, there's fear, they begin to receive unexplained gifts, there's poor school performance in some cases, there is mood swing, and in most cases, they hide their phones conversations. This could be as a warning sign to show you either they're undergoing peer pressure or unsafe relationships. So how can you as a parent, how can you as a guardian, teach your adolescents to say no confidently? So you give them practical words. You could say, no, I'm not ready. I do not want to do that. If you respect me, you will not pressure me. My future is important. And this goes both ways. So it goes for the males and it goes for the females. Thank you all. If you're tuning in right now, don't forget to give me a follow up. You could follow and I will definitely follow back. And you could subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you very much. So, what do you do as a parent? What do you do as a guardian? What do you do as a grandma, grandpa, if you notice that your teenage child or your teenage granddaughter or grandson if you suspect abuse or coercion? So you do not blame the child, okay? Some parents are known to blame the child. You do not blame the child. You actually listen calmly. In listening calmly, you're protecting the child. So, in a situation where you suspect abuse or coercion on your child, you listen calmly to the child, reassure the child, then you go ahead to protect the child. How do you protect the child? You seek medical support and you report the matter to appropriate child protection, social welfare, police, or health channels. You make sure you report the matter to them. So yeah, how do you think religious or culturally conservative parents discuss sexuality? So you could actually, if you're religious or culturally conservative parents, what you could do is you could actually combine faith and facts. So you teach purity, you teach dignity, you teach, self-control, then you teach responsibility while also giving correct health information. Okay, so if you're religious, if you're culturally conservative, and you want to discuss sexuality with your child or with your teenager or with your grandchild or whoever it is, okay, you can combine your faith and you can combine the facts together. Then you teach purity, if that is what you stand for. You teach dignity. You also teach self control. You teach responsibility. And whilst you're doing that, you are giving them the right or the correct health information they need. So silence should not make children vulnerable. They need to be taught. They need to be taught comprehensive sexuality education, and this cuts across to children residing in rural community, in urban community, in suburban communities. They should not be left out. So how can what they will send our kids to school, they meet nurses, they meet healthcare providers, they go to schools, they meet community leaders, they meet religious leaders. So what is their role? Everybody has a role to play. So what is the role? They should support parents by providing accurate information. The necessary information the teenager needs to grow should be provided for the adolescents. Okay, welcome Renatus should be provided for the adolescents. So in the schools, they should be provided with the accurate information. They should be provided with counseling. They should be provided with youth friendly services. And there should be mentorship, okay, protection and community education. If we have all this in place, we will be able to raise children or adolescents that will be in right standing, that would understand what comprehensive sexuality education is, that would understand what no means, that would understand what yes is. So there is this thing we really do not talk about, teenage pregnancy. So how can a parent help prevent teenage pregnancy without shaming the adolescent? How can a parent help prevent teenage pregnancy without shaming the adolescent? You communicate early, okay? You teach values, you teach respect, you teach dignity, you supervise their you supervise lovingly. You're not judgmental, you're not comparing your teenage child to another teenage child. Okay, parents tend to do that a lot. They tend to compare their child to someone else's child, and the truth of the matter is you only see what that child is wanting you to see. You don't live with the other child in their houses, so you get to see what that child wants you to see. So comparing your child to someone else's, it doesn't really add up. So we need to stop comparing. So we encourage future goals. I always advise that even though there is teenage pregnancy, still let the child go to school if the child can. Let the child mingle with their peers, okay? Then you correct every misinformation. And there is this big mistake parents always make. There is this very big mistake parents make when it comes to comprehensive sexuality education, when it comes to educating, their teenagers. There is this very big mistake parents make, and that mistake is waiting too long. So you tell yourself, oh, do you know what? My child is not up to the age where I need to discuss some certain things with that child. And that is why it's called age appropriate. So every age has, its level of discussion where you could actually communicate with that child. So you wait too long. So the biggest mistake parents make, they wait too long before they are able to communicate what comprehensive sexuality education is to their child. And because they wait too long, in some cases, the child falls into the wrong hands. Okay. And then the child is being taught by the internet, the child is being taught by, the media, the child is being taught by friends, the child is being taught by colleagues. In most cases, the child is being taught by uncle or aunties. So many parents wait until there is crisis, or many parents wait until the child has made a very huge mistake before they start talking about, sexuality education to the child, before they start educating the child. In most cases, they let, the society do the teaching for them. And that's where we make a very huge mistake. We let the society do the teaching for us. We let the society, educate our teenage children, our pre-teens for us. And sometimes we are not really sure if they are doing the right thing or the wrong thing. You, as a parent, you are responsible for your child. You are responsible for the mistakes and the corrections of your child. You are responsible for how your child grows up. You're responsible for the impact your child makes within the society. So the best time you build trust within your teenage child is before the crisis begin. Okay, some of us, we are teenagers, we are adults now, and if you cast your mind back, you realize that you've got some regrets, you've got a lot of things you wish, oh, your parents taught you this, oh, your parent taught you that, but the deed has been done. Now you've got kids. What is the thing you could do different that your parents did not do? What is that one thing you could sit your child down and explain to your child and tell the child, okay, I did this and I was terrible at it. This is the way you should go. Do not make the same mistakes I made, sorry. So we need to set the right example. We need to set the right tone for our teenagers. Okay. So you're welcome once again to Adolescent Corner. Okay, Anita, thanks very much. You're welcome. Yeah, Anita says, I'll take the comments right now. Anita says, talking to our adolescents about sex helps them to make good decisions by not spoiling their future, by not learning about sex education. Thank you very much. I'll just go to Facebook and see if we've got any comments. Okay. Let's try LinkedIn and see. Okay, if you've got questions, you just drop them. You just use the chat box, drop your questions, and I would answer them. Thank you all for joining. Please don't forget to subscribe. Please don't forget. Please don't forget to subscribe. Please don't forget to hit the like button because we do this every Thursday. We learn about comprehensive sexuality education. We learn about how to help our teenagers, especially those within the rural community, because I'm so passionate about our teen girls, our teen boys within the rural community because they are not, exposed to a lot of the necessary basic amenities. And that is why I am so passionate about making sure they finish education, making sure they have the right mindset, they have the right things, when it comes to comprehensive sexuality education. So we've got 3 more minutes, and I would like to say thank you all for joining. It's actually a 30 minutes event, and we've used 8 more minutes into it. Thank you all for joining. We meet here every Thursday, 5 p.m. Ghana time and 6 p.m. UK time. Thank you so much for being here. And there's one sentence I would like to leave every parent with. You can start a conversation today. I'm giving you an assignment. If you've got a preteen, a teenager at home, if you've got your kids, if you're a godparent and you've got teenagers within your life, you could start a conversation. And this is how you start a conversation. I know you're growing, and you may hear many things from friends or online. I want you to know that you can ask me questions and I will listen and guide you. I will say that again. You could describe your character for your teenager. You could say, I know you're growing, and you may hear many things from friends or online. I want you to know that you can ask me questions and I will listen and guide you. Okay, thank you all very much for joining today, where we dissect how we could help our teenagers, our preteens, both boys and girls, protect them from the dangers and harm of this world. I would see you again same time next week. Do not forget to hit the follow up button. Do not forget to hit the follow button. Do not forget to subscribe on YouTube, and do not forget to set your alarm. I love you all and have a beautiful evening. Bye bye.